Hi guys, it's Aegis here, and today I'm going to show you a feature match, which is one of the top table matches during Hong Kong WGP. It's top 16 if I remember right. So it is a Bermuda Riviera versus Shadow Paladin. So it is actually the first match that I record during the WGP Hong Kong, which you will see more and more coming in the future, because I've been taking top tables, top 16, top 8, top 4, and then the finals for free standard and as well as the premium. But the first one we have here is kind of a interesting matchup because Bermuda Riviera is kind of the new meta right now, and Shadow Paladin is a older meta, but of course they're still strong. If not, you won't be seeing them here. So the game takes a little bit until it gets interesting. This is early game, but I think both players trying to protect themselves from taking damage early game, because both of them know both decks can push a lot of damage later game with high power. So trying to avoid damage, if you have the guarding power to full guard, I think it's still always the best. So in here, the Shadow Paladin player wants the judge to cut the deck. That's why you see a third person touching the deck, which of course you can always ask a judge to help you cut the deck if you need during top tables. And the Bermuda player yet guarding again, so prevent a crit. And now he start riding a Riviera, and his turn really actually starts. So Riviera, one of the skills when plays counter +1, discard a card and draw 2. So you basically gain one hand advantage just by doing so. But drawing that much is also important because you need to discard 2 cards to stand to ride another Riviera. So you can see the Bermuda player keeps filtering and even drop a crit. So you start to push now. Trying to swing at the regard, because it can help you to do a perfect card on regard attacks. So the Shadow Paladin player got a draw trigger, and he decided to give power to Vanguard. So now we see Riviera's second skill get into action. At the end of the battle attack, discard 2 cards and then write one Riviera from your hand, extend, and get -1 drive, which usually you will write a grade 3 and you can get a force marker there. Or if you use up all your Riviera grade 3s, you can always write a grade 2 or grade 1. And you can see the grade 2 stand herself and every counter charge and draw, so that you can use Riviera skill to counter +1 and discard a card and draw 2 again. Because once you write another Riviera grade 3 with Riviera skill, you lose the drive. So it's important you always try to draw more cards so you have more cards to discard. and to find your other referee so that you can use, which in here he didn't use because his opponent is only on 1 damage and there's no reason to push if you only got single drive and you can't guarantee yourself a crit. So unfortunately, the Shadow Paladin player can only like Blaster Dragon here, which because I didn't see Sand, so I can't sure if he got a Mordred in hand. But you can also see why a Phantom Blaster is still good in this deck later on. So in here he tried to tap the main, but he decided he wants to think where he put his sports marker, which you see he switch and then call with the main now. Here comes the Blackwing Swordbreaker, so he can draw a card. Hopefully he can search for what he needs, because we don't see a Blaster Dog or a Mordred at all. And there's another. Okay, so here comes the Phantom Blaster skill to kill 2 units because the grade 2 Riviere is a big threat. I think he called a Mordred on the field, but unfortunately I can't see it clearly, but based on the image I think it is. So 2 damage, but I think it's important to take because in order to draw cards in Riviere you need to have damage. You don't actually have to rewrite because you can keep rewriting your skill. And here comes the new card, Caro skill. When you call this card from hand, Soul Blast 2, you can get the same copy, same name card from your Vanguard, but he can't find anything, or maybe he didn't search. But we can see why he still tries to Soul Blast 2 very soon. So he's not just doing some action that is meaningless. And here comes the reason. So he's trying to play the card, which is this Marijan. So this card, what it does is you only can use her effects no matter how many copies you have, only once per turn. By discarding this card, you draw a card, and then you select 1 card from the drop zone, get into the soul. If it's a Riviere card, you get it to your hand. So basically, by dropping this card, you draw a card, and then you also get a Riviere back. And you can see he didn't attack with the grade 2 Riviere, even though you can withstand. So that probably means he have more than one copy in hand, so he can make a good use of it. Got a crit and put the power to Great 2 here, and the 30k. And the Shadow Paladin also got a heal, so that Carol cannot hit Vanguard anymore, basically. And now he used reverse skill again to write another one. And this time he's putting force under the Vanguard, so his opponent is hard to guard, even if he got a trigger. Draw 2 cards again. And this time he attacked with Regard Repair. And the Vanguard goes again, which is 33 against 23. So he comes another crit, which putting the Shadow Paladin player on 5 damage. And you can see the Repair player, after he see his opponent is on 5 damage and no more triggers, he just decided to go all in to write another Repair. And this time he's thinking about where he put the force, and decided to put on Vanguard, because the Great 2 Repair is now on 40k. Force 1 and 2 triggers, and he draws again. And stand the Great 2 Repair. Today is ready and try to finish his opponents off this turn. This time is 43 on 23. Kind of harsh for the Shadow Paladin player, because in order to guard this attack, he needs to put 25k shield at least for one pass, and he's on 5, which there's a 40k attack next, which he needs to put another 20k, so he at least needs 45k shield in hand, and hoping his opponent don't get triggers again. And I think he only got like 4 to 5 cards in hand, so it's not that easy to have 20, 5 and 20. Both is trying to look at the field, what is available, how many triggers left. So he decided to one pass, 25k shield. And it didn't pass, and you can see his hand, he got a Great 2 Repair. So in order to push in, he decided to drop 2 more cards and ride to Great 2. And without drive, just a 40k attack. And another 40k on Great 2. the Shadow Paladin player only got 3 cards in hand. So in order to block both, he need 40k shield. And we just saw him drop a heal there, so it's unlikely he's going to have another 40k shield in hand. And also here, you can see the Shadow Paladin player thinks a lot even he only got 3 hands. And during this match, he was told to make the decision a little bit faster. Which sometimes happens because some players like to think a lot of possibilities and think of what is the best. But we also need to try to keep the game running, because if everyone keeps thinking for so long, then the event will likely be delayed a lot. So he actually got another 20k shield. Then he comes a 40k attack, and he dropped a 10k card, which is not enough. And now we all check in the condition. And you see he put the card aside, which add it back to his hand. But usually because you revealed it, and you shouldn't keep that in hand, and that's comes the match. Thanks for watching.